So, you want to know how to impress the subconscious mind? It's the most important thing to know in manifestation because guess what? We're manifesting all the time, and people don't even know about manifestation, law of attraction, law of assumption, whatever you want to call it, but still are in their dream life. It's because they impress their subconscious mind, which, creates everything. So, we're going to look at this. So, how to impress the subconscious mind. New video style today. It's going to be cool. So, look at my amazing drawings, all this fun shit. So, impressing the subconscious mind. We all know that is the mainstay. That's how we're actually going to, get our desires. Because once the subconscious mind is impressed, well, then reality unfolds in that way. Now, what is the best way to get to the subconscious mind? Now, we all need to know about brainwaves. Brainwaves are very important when it comes to manifesting because your brain needs to be in a certain function to be able to access said subconscious mind because, well, the subconscious mind is very near and dear to us as it creates our whole entire life. So, of course, we have a built in protection system. Now we need to understand how to turn that off. It's like the alarm system of a house. You know how to turn the alarm system off on a house. Well, you'll know how to get in. Now, if you go and you look at all of the brainwaves, you start with theta, you have alpha, then you have theta, and then you have delta. Now, this is the fastest, second, third, fourth. We really want to be in theta. That's the best way. I'm going to explain why. So beta is like this is how it is. I mean, look at how quick these lines are paced together. That's how fast your brain is moving. That's when we're alert. That is when we're all those things, and that's when the conscious mind is the most on. When the conscious mind is the most on, we can think about that as the alarm system of the subconscious, the alarm system to the house. And well, when this is fully on and fully locked and loaded, there's no way you're getting in there. And if you do, you're going to have to break through some doors. You're not going to want to do that. You'll get the cops called. So then we get down to alpha. It's a little bit more forgiving, right? Look at this. It's doing good over here. But there may be little cracks, and you might be able to get partially into the house. In this case, the house of God, the subconscious mind. But you're still very alert. The mind is still very alert. The alarm is 90% on. You know what I mean? You're alert. The conscious mind is still up, and it's going to be very difficult to break in. Now, theta, this is the best place to be. I'm gonna explain why. This is how theta is, okay? The brain is very relaxed. It's not fully relaxed. We don't want to be, and I'll explain why in a second. But this is exactly where we want to be because delta is the slowest. This is what delta looks like. These are the exact waves that your brain makes when you are asleep. Now, the difference between alpha and delta, right? Delta, you're fully asleep. Alpha is you're basically awake, right? You're awake, you're alert, but you're like more of zenned out. Theta is basically when your body is asleep, but your imagination stays awake. You still have the ability to think. You still have the ability to imagine, but the body is completely off. And you are going to get this from 4 hertz to 8 hertz. And like if you go and look the frequencies up on YouTube, this is going to be theta. It's going to be 4 to 8 hertz. And this is exactly where you want to be because the way the body's shut down. You don't have any like body interference. And the mind is fully shut off. And by mind, the conscious mind, because guess what? The subconscious mind doesn't sleep. And if we can access the imagination, we can access our imagination while our conscious mind is asleep. Well, just like a robber would if they were able to break into a house while the alarm was asleep, they could take everything. But like us, we can now create anything, but it's more like choose. And if we can choose whatever reality we want inside of the subconscious mind, well, that's going to get given to us. Now, this is very basic level because everybody should know this. And if you don't, now you do. But it's basic. So, again, 4 hertz, 8 hertz. Which is better? And now this could be personal opinion, But I'm going to give you my thing. I've been doing this for 5 years. When it comes to hertzes and stages within theta, because 4 hertz feels a lot different than 8 hertz. Okay, even though it doesn't seem like a lot, it does when you're in it. So 4 hertz is you're basically like a lot of the times, like when I would do 4 hertz, I'm falling asleep. 8 hertz I felt like isn't fully enough, even though it is. I really like, and there's a specific audio one that I used over the years, and it's 7.5. I don't know why, it just feels really good to me. My body feels very relaxed. I just feel good. And then I have full control. I don't fall asleep when I use this one, which is very important because a lot of people will get on here and, they'll learn, oh, if I want to if I want to create my own reality, which create is not the wrong, it's the wrong word because all realities are already done in the 4th dimension. Topic for another video. But they're like, oh my God, I can choose this. Well, yeah. But then they fall asleep and they're like, man, I keep getting a theta, but I keep falling asleep. Like, it's probably because the theta tape you're doing is closer to delta than you may think. And now that you know this, I would suggest around 7. I feel like it gives the most conscious control of your imagination while being a good mix of your body being fully asleep. And I don't fall asleep while doing this. And if you're still having issues, don't lay down while you do this. Like what I do, I'll lay down with my legs up, like on a chair. I don't know why, I just feel really good when I do that. But like, for example, if you're falling asleep, just get a fucking chair. That simple. Now that's part 1, brainwaves. Hopefully you got that in. If not, go back. But what a lot of people don't understand is what is the best technique. Actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, there's a very, very age-old debate. What is better? Right? Ooh, I didn't forget to get my pen. Is it repetition versus emotion when it comes to impressing the subconscious mind? Right? And you can't really talk about impressing the subconscious mind without hitting this topic. And if you look deeper into the cliques of manifestation, repetition will be law of assumption, and emotion will be law of attraction. But I think being in either one of those boats is very limiting to a degree, because if you join into a group, it's going to have their limitations, and you will adhere to those. So, really, really popular, and has been for a while, that repetition is the most effective way, right? So you're just thinking over and over again, right? And they're saying like emotion doesn't matter, but I'm gonna break down exactly what this is, and we'll go through this picture here. So the heart, awful heart. We'll just do for repetition. We'll do a line. All right. So when it comes to these, it's very important that both of these impress the subconscious mind. Okay, but we need to understand which is most effective and what your body is actually using with these beliefs. And it is an energy. Whenever you go and you do anything, like with manifestation, it's all energy. So you're going and using your energy. Now, a belief is energy. When a belief is fully manifested into your reality, it's at 100%. We can use like a battery to like kind of describe this. So it's like all the way up here, right? Boom, boom, boom. You get the point. Your battery is fully full when it's at 100%. It's in reality. There's nothing else there. Now, what charges it better? Battery. Electromagnetic waves. That's technically what it is. The electromagnet energy. So we look at this. Which is stronger? The brains or the hearts? And now this is going to ruffle some feathers. And I was very, very reluctant to fully understand this, even when I learned it a couple years ago. And it, gave me some troubles. But the brains over here, the brain is at repetition. Let's say it's at 1, right? Because I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head. Let's say the power per thing is 1. The hearts, I genuinely think it, and I don't know off the top of my head, 10,000 times stronger. I think that's what I heard and what I've done in my research. And again, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. You be free to look it up and prove me wrong. But it's a lot stronger than the minds. And if we understand that repetition and emotion impresses the subconscious mind, and we understand that emotion is being neglected by the masses because they say it doesn't matter, and to a degree it doesn't, but what they're not understanding is that emotion is stronger. And if we know that it's, let's say it's 10,000 times stronger, I think that's what it is. Could be wrong, but I know it's a lot. Well, if that's the case and emotion is what people are neglecting, well, that's a main reason why people can't manifest, because they're neglecting emotion because it's been popularized that it doesn't matter, right? Now, can you manifest with just repetition and no emotion? Yeah, you can. But since this is stronger, technically you're going to manifest faster. Now, what is the fastest way to manifest? It's not just emotion, right? You can have one very, very emotional experience, and I will say this, like trauma, right? Trauma can completely change your subconscious mind instantly because that's how intense of emotion trauma is. But most people cannot just conjure that up in their imagination. It's very difficult to do that, okay? Now, the most effective way to impress your subconscious mind is through repetition and emotion. You tie these together. Now, how do you exactly do that? And how does that actually come into play when it shows like how easy manifestation is? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. And this is kind of a cool way to explain this. I really actually enjoy this drawing stuff. First time ever doing this, if it's your first time here. Now, when we go about emotion, right, and the quickest way to manifest, we first need to understand how to cultivate emotion and what emotion truly is when it comes to, like, affirming, visualizing, So, emotion. Oh, how do we actually conjure it? And what do I mean and what emotion matters? So, when it comes to emotion, how we conjure this is through our imagination. Now, thinking is the prerequisite. We have to think to conjure emotion. And most of the time, thinking will conjure emotion to a degree. Because, again, thinking is a prerequisite to everything. All techniques are is just thinking. You can't think wrong unless you think that you don't have it. But we're not talking about, like, yes, you can manifest with just thinking, but we want the most effective way to impress the subconscious. That's why you guys are here. And that's what's going to actually manifest what you want the quickest. All right. So, to cultivate emotion, you have to think. Now, how do we cultivate emotion greatest? And we already talked about trauma and how trauma equals the greatest amount of emotion because it's very, very intense. All right, so if you want to think in a lot of emotion, what you're thinking needs to be intense. Or you could say vivid. Now, how do we make our thinking intense and vivid? Well, there's multiple ways to do this, but it's just adding senses, right? Now, do you have to visualize to add senses to your techniques? No, you don't. No, you don't. So, what are the senses? You got touch. You have touch. Hold on. You have touch, smell, hear, taste, and then seeing. Like you can see with your eyes. Now, obviously, when people visualize, they're seeing and they're thinking at the end of the day. So the two senses, right? Most of the time you're seeing and you're thinking, so boom. That's what a lot of people do. Affirming is you're just hearing it, right? Which again, you hear and you see for visualization, so that's already two, right? But a lot of the times, let's say for example, you're not good at visualizing, you're like, oh my god, I can't manifest. It's just thinking. You can add senses without seeing. Remember, it's just a sense. Not one is not better than the other. So if you want to, do something that's a little bit more vivid, more intense in your imagination, but you don't want to see, you have trouble visualizing, which is again is just like an assumption. You can be good at visualization. Anybody can. But if you want to do that, you can just do what I do, which is a lot of times inner conversations, which is a more intense way of hearing or a more intense way of thinking. And what I'll do, because sometimes like there's some things that I have trouble visualizing, right? And what I'll do is I'll hear. An inner conversation is just like me visualizing without seeing it. So for example, let's say you're imagining somebody congratulating you. They're like, oh, Aiden, congratulations on making, $5,000 yesterday or something like that. And I'd hear them say that. And usually when you're visualizing, you'll see it with your eyes as well. And you'll be like, oh man, that's so good. But sometimes people can't visualize. So I always do. Or when I have trouble doing that, I'll visualize. Or, man, having a tough time here. I will have inner conversations. And that'll be hearing. But guess what? I'll also like do a hug. So that'll be touch. I'll feel that person giving me a hug. I don't have to see it, but I can feel it. Or maybe, you want to add more. Let's say, for example, there was some food out there. What did it smell like? Or maybe it's your grandma. Your grandma's giving you a hug. What do your grandma's house smell like? You can smell it. You can experience it without seeing it. And the more of this you add, the more intense and the more vivid it will be, which will make, again, more energy, because emotion is energy in motion. That's all it is. And the more energy you can cultivate, the easier it will be to impress the subconscious mind. And if we can make the battery of our subconscious go from 0 to 100, well, that's the quickest way to manifest. And a lot of you guys, well, you'll be like, well, I can't do that when I'm going throughout my day. And a lot of you guys have not actually experienced what it feels like to have a full mental battery on something. And I'm going to explain how it feels. When you are not getting to the point where you're filling that battery up, let's say you're doing something and it's not convincing your subconscious that this is real. Doesn't matter. You could even be visualizing, right? And it's not the right thing for you to push your energetic buttons to fill up this battery. And let's say you're sitting here and it's like, no matter what you're trying to do, let's say you're walking around, right? You're walking around, you got curly hair because you're cool like me. And you're walking around, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It always feels like you have this entity following you around that's just spewing all the bad stuff you don't want to hear. Like, it doesn't matter how much you affirm, you can be robotically affirming throughout the day, which again is just thinking. You could be sitting there and you're walking along throughout your day, you're like, I am this, I am this, I am this. But as soon as you stop, this is all you hear. And you're like, how the fuck? Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, but this won't go away. And for the longest time, that was like a big thing with me until I think it was 2.5 years ago. And I'll tell the story here. I had no money, and I had been making 6-figure months, but most of the time it was around like 50K, right? But I'd touched 6-figure months, and I went down to nothing. And this is just after I moved out of living with my manifestation coach. So it was like in a whole new world. I stopped doing what I was doing. And I had like $60 in my bank account. I think it was literally like 63 or 47, something like it. Doesn't matter. Under $100. And my girl at the time asked me for an acai bowl. And I look at my bank account. I'm like, oh. Like, I ain't got no money in here. And for a second, I started to spiral. And I'm like, because I had been trying. And I was like, oh my God, I'm doing all these techniques, but nothing's working. And this is what I was experiencing. It's like no matter what, it felt like I could not get the energetic buttons in place. Like I couldn't impress my subconscious mind. Nothing was working. Right? And I'm sitting there, nothing's working. I was like, I need to lock in. So I bought her the acai bowl because I'm like, I already have no money. I'm about to not be able to pay my rent in a week. I'm about to not be able to pay my employees. It was just really bad. So I went and locked in. And what I did was I went and, I did my scene. Did my scene. And well, your mental battery, this is what I'm doing in my scene. And a lot of you guys, and this is very important, you guys will go in your scene when you're like extremely like ecstatic or you're at the peak of your scene where you're like, oh my God, I feel good. And you just stop. You set like a 10-minute timer, your timer goes off, you're done. The best way to get this is to go until your battery hits here, overcharges, and then dies. Right? It's like you get up here and you're like, I am this thing, and you're getting into it until your battery just dies, right? And you'd be like, well, that's bad. No, it's not. Because when you get to a point, and again, we'll touch on this bad thing here in a second, but when you're going and doing your techniques like I did, right? And I sat there until I could not do this technique anymore. Like I had no desire to do it. But the reason I had no desire to do it was I fulfilled my desire internally. And that is manifestation, because manifestation is giving something to yourself as if it's already done until you no longer want it. And if you're doing that, this is what it's supposed to look like. You'll fill this battery up, right? Until it's here, and then it'll drop. Because when you have no desire for something, well, it's at 100%. You're not going to have the energetic buttons to push because you're fulfilled. And when you're fulfilled, you'll go to neutral, and neutral feels like nothingness, which is down here. And a lot of you guys will go and you'll fill this battery up and you'll be like, I am this thing, until you get here and you still want this thing, right? And when you still want this thing, this is still winning. It is your normal, because what is the opposite of your desired reality? It's most likely what you identify as bad, which is the opposite of you. It's just you not having it, and it'll follow you around. It's like, man, I just can't get this off my shoulders, like a Shinigami or whatever it's called in Death Note. Like that guy who's always wanting an apple. He's like flying around, following you. Nobody else can see him but you feel him constantly. Well, it's because you didn't do the work to make it to where you still want it, right? And there's a difference between metaphysically wanting, right? And like, oh, like people will always say like, oh, I'm dating my girlfriend. Right? Like I still want to be with her. You want to keep her. That's different from wanting her as if you just saw her at the club. Right? So, let's see if I can erase this. I don't know. Ooh, it's actually working. It wasn't working earlier. So you go on, and when you guys, next time you go, if you want to actually make manifestation a lot easier and you're going to make it faster, you got to visualize your battery, like we were talking about, your energetic battery, when you're actually doing your techniques. Because a lot of people don't understand how long to do your techniques, and they don't do them long enough. Even though length is not really the issue here, it's more filling this up. So let's say, for example, you want to manifest making $1,000 a day. And no matter what you do, right, you're just followed around by the fact that you're poor. You can't get it off your back. Even though you think in your favor, it automatically reverts. It's very difficult. Because you're not actually killing your desire. And when you kill the desire, that is when you're actually going to manifest. Just like we're talking about with the trauma. It fills your shit up like that. And it's like, well, you don't want trauma. You already have it. Even though it's, nobody really wants trauma. But I'm talking about energetically. It completely fills it up internally. And that is your new normal. And it's because it kills the desire. So you go on like, oh, I make $1,000 a day. And a lot of you guys will get here. You'll get here. You'll get here. Maybe you'll even get up to here. Then your alarm goes off and you stop. And there's nothing inherently wrong with this, right? You can continue to do this, and maybe next time you start, you're here. And you go up, and boom. And then you fall back down, and then you go up, boom. And you stop. But you guys aren't filling your battery up, right? Which is why for a lot of you guys, it'll take a long time, and it feels like you're trying to run through this brick wall. And the best way to do it is to get rid of this wall and to get rid of this, which is to fill this battery up, which is used through emotion and repetition, which is why, like, a lot of you guys who don't actually go in and do your emotion, it'll feel like it just never goes away. It's because emotion is the stronger of the two energetically. So when you go on and you add these senses, well, let's say you do a scene and your battery fills up, and you do this until you no longer want to do it anymore, like you don't desire it, then your battery dies, right? Now, a lot of you guys will still experience the want for this, and I'm not telling you to stop doing your techniques, but if you do it to the point every time where you kill your battery, and then you go throughout your day reminding yourself, right, and you won't actually have to force yourself to do this, it'll start coming naturally, instead of this bad Shinigami where it's just floating around, and it's like, no matter how much you try to remind yourself of how you have this thing, it's like you can't beat out this guy. Well, if you do this and you start killing the battery, the good guy will be on your shoulders. That's all you're here. And like today, I did a visualization today, right? And I'm sitting in my car and I'm trying to listen to music, but I cannot stop thinking about how I already have my manifestation. And I know how suffocating this is because we've all been there. But like, since the law of polarity exists, there's two sides to like everything has an equal, right? That means that you can experience that good. And the way you do that is by killing this battery, which you do through emotion. You can do it just through like thinking, like repetition, but it's going to take fucking forever, which is why a lot of people manifest things so slow. right? So knowing this, what is a good routine that you can get in the habit of doing throughout your day-to-day life to actually manifest the quickest? And we'll break this down into two. We'll, like, focus sessions, and your day-to-day. Like when you're just, maybe you're going to work. Day to day. Now, what I do for focus is you're going to pay attention to your mental battery, right? And let's say you cultivate a scene, whether it's affirming or like an inner conversation where you're talking to somebody or you're visualizing, whatever it may be, you're going to feel a certain way, right? It's going to have a shift in your consciousness, which at the end of the day is all manifestation is. You're shifting your consciousness into having something. But that shift, right? And you're going to stay in that and you're going to go, and you're going to do this until you're done. Whether that be struggle, whether that be like you're completely neutral on the subject. When something gets hard or you don't want to do it, that's when you're going to stop, right? That means your battery's done. It can't do any more for today without struggling. And struggling is not a good thing because everything's already done. You don't struggle to do something. You're experiencing, okay? So boom, you do that at the beginning of your day. That's how I wake up and do. And then whatever feeling or state of consciousness you are in, and again, it doesn't have to be super ecstatic. It can make you happy. It can make you very calm, make you peaceful, right? It doesn't have to be over the top, but whatever you felt in your focus session, I want you to bring that through your day to day. That can be like, for example, go back to $1,000 a day. Like when you're visualizing this or you're doing your inner conversation, what is the first thought that comes to mind, right? Now, let's say, for example, you're sitting there and you're thinking of a phrase to sum up your thing, and let's say it comes up into wow, I really make 1,000 a day. Maybe that's what it came to. And you start telling yourself this over and over again, and you start to be in the same sort of consciousness you were in when you were doing the focus session. And what that does is making it to where, like, and what I mean by day to day, it's you're saying this, you go about your day to day. When you remember to say it, you don't have to force it, but when you remember to say it, and what this will do is it will make sure that your energy is not fighting each other. Okay? And this should be easier if you're doing this correctly. It should be a very, I wouldn't say easy per se, because you'll have to deal with like stuff in your physical reality. But like internally, it should be easy. Because if you're doing this and you're killing your mental battery after a while, maybe a session, maybe two, maybe three, maybe a week, right? It should start to become natural that you're saying this phrase throughout the day. It's like no matter what you're doing, it won't leave you alone. It's like pesky. It's like that energy is now making everything easier for you. That belief is already cemented itself, and all you're doing is reminding yourself of this thing. And still do your focus sessions once, twice, 3 times a day. I'll do it 3 times a day most of the time because I have the time to do it. If you're working, have a busy life, just do it twice, once in the morning, once at night. And then throughout the day, you're reminding yourself, you're carrying this consciousness, right? The consciousness that you experience when you're doing your session, you're carrying that same feeling, that same like state of being when you're doing this, okay? And it's not a race because, again, we're trying to bring the state of consciousness into it, not just rapid fire saying it. So it'd be like slower. It'd be like, man, I really make $1,000 a day. Like really get into it. Because if you were to go and experience this, right, and you should go and experience this to find out you're saying to what you would really say if you just experience this now. And like when you're in it, it'll be like most of the time it'll be slow. You're like, wow, I really do make $1,000 a day or something like that, Whatever way you said it internally when it first popped up, that is how you're going to continue to say it because we want to keep this state of consciousness throughout the day. And if you can do this, I promise you, impressing the subconscious mind is going to be easy as fuck. And not only that, you're going to actually start manifesting fast because you're using the biggest energetic ball to impress your subconscious mind, and you're keeping that throughout your day to day. And it gets to the point where manifestation is super fucking easy. You got to remember to keep this shit vivid. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for coming out today, learning about impressing the subconscious mind. and I will see you later.